Hello, fellow diamond painting addicts, and welcome back to Diamond Painting Anonymous. Today I have kind of a not quite diamond painting video. I've had some questions come up, and so this had actually been on my mind to share for a while, and so I thought I would just go ahead and do it. So many people are trying to YouTube, and it can be really hard to know where to start and what you need and the kinds of equipment. So I thought today I would share with you all of the kinds of equipments that I have tried and failed, and also what I'm currently using, so that you can kind of see what it is. And I will try to post photos off to the side of, the items as I talk about them, and I will put links in the description below where you can find these if you want them, because again, some of these worked for me, some of them didn't, and actually they've been kind of tossed in my this isn't working for me bag, so I'm not even sure I have all the pieces and parts, but I'm just gonna jump in and get started. One of the first things that I bought when I decided I wanted to do this was this lovely little ring light, because I knew I was going to be filming with a phone. And so I wanted something that, would have a phone holder, because most ring lights come with a phone holder. Some, they're actually in the middle of the ring light. Some are down to the side like this. This one also came with a remote control, so that you could start your phone recording when you were sitting a distance away from it, so you didn't have to be close enough to touch your phone in order to start recording. It is on a tripod, and it does have pieces that you can, move up and down and adjust, so that you can get it set to the right height for whatever you're doing. This didn't really work for me, because for the most part, I'm not filming myself. If you're doing like beauty tips, or you're on camera all the time, then a ring light is great. But for what I'm doing, it just didn't serve my purposes. And so I tried it for a while and then decided that it wasn't going to work for me. And it wasn't expensive. I'll again link it in the description below, but I think it was only like $25, $29, something like that. You can get fairly inexpensive ring lights. There's a variety of them. And if you're going to be on camera, you need to make sure that you light yourself appropriately, because no matter how good your camera is, if your lighting isn't good, you will look grainy and it will look bad. So the next thing I tried was this simple, and let me move some of these other things out of the way so that you can see. And again, those are various pieces. I don't remember what came with what, but so here's this. And obviously one of these little, screw-on pieces that hold your camera goes on there. Or you can even put on one of these. It's like a little rotational ball, so you can move things around. This one is made so that you can, film from overhead. So you would attach this. This also has a little ball thing. Let me see, I don't know if you can see it right there. It's also got a little ball thing right there, so you can move this around. And then, in theory, you're supposed to be able to shoot down to right here, so that you can shoot from overhead, which is, for most of us people who are doing crafting, diamond painting, etc., that's what we want, so that you can see what we're doing. I could not get this thing to work for me, simply because if you see here on the feet, they move in and out. And so, for one thing, for me, even with a fairly light phone, it was not sturdy enough to keep it from tipping over. Of course, you could put weights on it, etc., but that just wasn't working for me, and I couldn't get it to tilt down quite as far as I needed it to. And so, yeah, I tried turning it around the other way. Of course, then it's even more tipsy. Plus, half the time, even with these legs splayed out as far as they will go, which is about right like that, unless I'm zoomed in pretty far, or in pretty close to what I'm doing, you're getting the legs of the stand in the shot, which I didn't want. So yeah, I just kind of ended up abandoning this one as well. So, and honestly, I don't even remember how much this one is, how much I paid for this one. I will say almost all of this I've purchased, well, probably all of this I have purchased from Amazon, simply because, sorry guys, I kicked the camera. I'm trying to move things out of the way as I talk. Because again, I live in a rural area, and so that's what I need. Or what I have access to is Amazon, and so that's what I get. Oh, something that you guys may not think about, you do really need good audio, and so that paper was just the instructions for my ring light. I got a little lapel / lavalier mic, and this is not an expensive mic. I want to say it cost me 15 bucks, but the difference that it makes in your audio quality is amazing. It is something that you have to plug in to your phone, and because I'm using an iPhone and Apple is annoying, I had to get a little dongle thing to be able to plug it into my phone while I'm recording, etc., etc. So there may be peripherals that you have to purchase as well to kind of get it set up the way that you want. But, at some point I have a better mic that I would like, but for now, this one is doing great for me. And so that's what I'm using. And again, I'll put a link in the description below. Let's see, what was the next thing I purchased? I guess the next thing I really purchased was my, and I'm going to apologize, this is super bright, my Softbox lights. I have 2 of them, and they came in these fancy little storage bags so that you can store them. I bought one and then decided one wasn't enough. I needed 2 so that I could light both sides. So I have one over there, and then I have one on this side of my table as well. And I purchased the first one, and I really liked how it looked, and it worked. And then it wasn't until probably several months later that I bought the second one, and that's just because in between where I was filming and how I was filming changed. When I first set it up in here, I was filming on like a folding table, a folding card table, and it was rather thin. It was a rectangular table. It was long and skinny, and so I didn't really feel, I was only using about half of it, so I really only needed the one light. And then I was trying to find other solutions for filming overhead, and that was my next purchase, which I believe was this table stand. And you'll see these all over the place. I don't have the clamp because it broke. But basically you get a little clamp that attaches to the edge of your table, like a little clamp here, and it's got a part that has a hole in it that this then sits in, and you can rotate this all around, and it's got springs on them, so you can open it up quite wide, you can close it up quite small. I'm trying to do this here without pinching myself. So you can close it up that small, and then of course you can put your phone here, and it's got a little attachment. You could screw in your camera even if you wanted to, although this is not made to hold tons of weight, so make sure that you're watching your weight requirements if you're using an actual camera. And of course they all come with different, little bits and bobs. One of the ones that I got came with this camera holder. I don't like these tension camera holders at all. I'll show you the one that I do like and the one that I use the most here towards the end, but it does have this little ball thing, and this is made to go on one of these. It slips over here, and there's a little screw thing that you tighten so that it doesn't come off. I'm using it elsewhere, so that's why I don't have it on this, but I don't like these tension ones, so I'm not using that. This one worked okay, but I was filming out on the table, my dining room table, which was hard to light. I had to kind of drag things back and forth. That got to be annoying. My table is not smooth. It's got rounded corners on my dining room table, so the clamp didn't work perfectly. Things would get overbalanced, and my issue with attaching it to the table is if you bump the table at all or whatever, then your camera moves. And sometimes for me, even just, you know, trying to do whip and chats and diamond painting while I was doing it, you know, kitting up, sorting out drills, any kind of movement made the camera shake. And so I just didn't like it for that reason. So, and again, this one wasn't very expensive. I want to say it was somewhere between $20, $25, $30, somewhere in there. And it came with various pieces and parts. So, back to the soft boxes. The soft boxes were probably one of the most expensive pieces of equipment that I've purchased. And I want to say they were $50, maybe a little bit more. I know you can purchase them for upwards of $150. They're really made more for professional photographers, but I like them, and I like the way they work. So that's what I got. So I had the first soft box, and then I was really searching for an option because I wanted to film from overhead, and I started looking at professional, you know, filming equipment. And so somebody somewhere on one of the million YouTube channels I've watched about this, someone recommended this C stand, and I hope you can see this silver stand back here. It is pretty hefty, and that is probably the most expensive piece I've purchased. It was $150, $175, but it is steel. It is very sturdy, and as you can see, it's got all kinds of fancy little adjustments that you can make to it. I could make it much taller. You can move your camera, and it's meant to actually mount a camera with, not just a phone. You mount your camera at one end, and then at the other end you put some sort of and I don't know if you're going to be able to see, there's the bar, the crossbar at the top. You put the camera at one end, and then at the other end you put like a sandbag or some sort of weight to hold it in place. And I tried using that. The issue with that is, in order to get the overhead where I needed it to be, I had to put the stand on this side of the table, which meant then I was trying to work around it, and that just got to be super annoying. The other thing was, once I placed it behind there, I could, because this whole thing rotates, so that bar at the top will spin so that it is perpendicular to the table instead of parallel. But because it was so tall, to get, you know, what I was working on in view, I couldn't see what the camera was doing. And so I ran into several instances where my camera would run out of battery, or several times the old phone that I was using to film ran out of storage space, and so it would quit filming, and I wouldn't realize that until I was done with what I was doing. And so, like, I'd film a kit up and I'd only have half the kit up actually filmed, because unbeknownst to me, the camera had shut off in the middle. Now, at some point when I purchase a fancy camera that has a little flip down screen so that I can see what I'm doing no matter where I'm sitting, then I will probably go back to using that fancy thing. But for now, it's kind of just decoration. It doesn't really get used for a whole lot, which is kind of sad. So then the next thing that I purchased, and hang on here, because that's something you have to remember with these lights. Once you turn them on, it gets warm, and I film in a small room, my office / craft room, and so yeah, it gets warm in here. Anyway, so after discovering that didn't really work for me, the next thing that we purchased was this little thing. And this thing I actually loved, except for a few things. So as you can see, here's the little piece that I was telling you, you know, where it fits on over it. This is still on here because the piece that goes here I'm currently using to film, and I will show you that in a minute because I'm going to trade off stands that I'm using to film so you can kind of see what I'm doing. So this has a clamp on it, and it's meant to clamp onto a table, and then it has this adjuster, it's like a snake thing is what they call it, but it adjusts in any way you want. And I think I saw this one on Stitcherista's channel. So I thought, well, I've got this big silver thing at the back. I will clamp this to it, and then I will be able to move this little snake piece so that I can film from overhead. And that is what I did. So let me show you how I had it clamped. So up there at the top, you can see, I hope you can see, that it is clamped right up there. And then you can see there where the camera would be, and then I would be able to direct the camera angle down so that it was filming whatever I was doing on the table. And that worked for a while, and I really, really liked the holder that came with it. So it wasn't one of these little, again, these little tension ones. I can't stand these. I pinch my fingers so many times with these. I can't stand them. So I don't use any of those. And so then the next purchase was a floor stand one, because I wanted it to be a little bit higher. Because of the way my camera works, I don't have a lot of zoom, and I'm going to move the camera here for just a minute. I'm trying to do it slowly so I don't make anybody sick. So the overhead one that I had, the little snake one, worked for a while, but it didn't give me enough. I couldn't move it up and down the way that I wanted, because my camera, because I'm using a smartphone, I can zoom in, but I can't zoom out. And so that gets annoying sometimes with what I want to do. So here, I'm going to unhook my camera and I'm going to show you. Here is the clamp that I love the most. It is literally a clamp, and you just squeeze it open and you put your phone in there where the little red things are, and then clamp it down, and it holds your phone in place. And it is amazing. It's on one of those little ball things, so it can tilt all kinds of directions. This piece is also another one of those snake pieces, and I'll show you that in a minute. So this is what I love, and this was originally on this snake clamp thing holder, phone holder here. So then I moved to one that is a tripod, and I'm going to kind of scan down here and I'll show you. Ooh, sorry for that. Moving a change in lighting. Ignore the junk on my floor. Part of my stash. Anyway, so this is on a tripod. This adjusts up and down, and it still has this little snake piece here, so I can move it down and up and side to side as I need to, and I can clamp my phone in here so that it does what I want. So let me put it back in there. So now you see I can adjust it down so that you can see what I'm doing on the table. I could move it off to the side, and if I bump the table, I'm not going to bump the camera because it's not attached to the table. So you can see a couple of other pieces here. This is another, honestly, I don't even remember what this one is for. Obviously you screw something in there, but I don't remember. I think it's another phone holder, but it's another one of those tension ones that I can't stand. This was another piece to something I don't remember, and this one attached somehow, and then you attach the phone holder here. Again, I bought so many pieces I don't remember what goes with what. And then after I bought this tripod that I'm using, or tripod that I'm using here, I bought the second Softbox, and again they come with these fancy bags, storage bags, because they assume if you're a professional photographer, you're going to be, you know, collapsing these and carrying them with you to and from wherever you're going. I'm not doing that. Mine just stay set up all the time, but I kept the bag. And they come with some pretty heavy duty light bulbs in them. So here's the kind of light bulb that goes in them. I kept these so that when they burn out, because I'm sure they will, I will know which ones to get. So I have 2 storage cases like this, one for each of my Softbox lights. And like I said, I kept the boxes that the light bulbs came in so I would know what I ordered. And then this is the bag that the tripod I'm currently using came in, so that, you know, if you want to collapse it and take it wherever and whatnot, you can do that as well. And I'm one of those people, I tend to keep the instructions and the bags and everything so that, you know, if something breaks, I know what it is so that I can go back and reorder it, or I can fix it, or I can order additional light bulbs or whatever it is I need to do. So then my last purchase, my husband found this for me, and this has been kind of my go-to for a lot of things when I'm filming, and that is this desktop stand. And I'm going to spin it around here, and then I'm going to move the camera back on this tripod a little bit. Let me adjust the camera so that you can see it. And this one is quickly becoming my favorite. I can put this on my desktop. It's not very heavy, as you can see. And I want to say this was only like $30, something like that. And it's made to hold your smartphone, and it does all the things. You spin this and it goes up and down, so you can go all the way to the top of the tripod. So I can, you know, use that to kind of zoom my phone in and out. I can set it at a nice height to film what I'm doing on the desktop here. So, you know, I will put it like this basically, and then I film down here what I'm doing. And it also, this, you can angle it, and it spins 360 degrees, so however you want to do that. It also slides this way or that way, so that you can adjust it for balance however you need to. You could put some things down here on the bottom to kind of hold it in place if you need to. I love this because I film my whip-in chats with this. I will say I love the phone thing. This is a screw instead of a tension one. I mean, technically it's tension because it's a screw, but I just have to turn the knob and I fit my phone in there, and then I can just screw it. And I don't pinch my fingers. I don't hit the buttons on my phone. It rotates, as you can see, all around. I mostly have it in this down position though, because I'm capturing what I'm doing here on the desk. And what I can do, because I can move it all the way down, is I will move it like this, and then it is basically at the perfect height for me to set, and I can film my whip-in chats so that I have everything set in the right place. This is coming a little bit loose. I'm just trying to tighten that up. So I can film my whip-in chats, and yeah, it's been amazing for that, and super grateful to my husband for finding that one, because I love this one. So this one lets me do kind of desktop things, and then I have the big tripod that is currently holding the camera for, you know, when I need to do big things like my unboxing of my Diana canvas. That was so big, I had to do it on my dining room table. I could use this tripod, and I could back the camera a ways away so that I could get everything in the shot. But for in here, this camera holder lets me do most of the things that I want to do in here on the table, whether I'm doing a kitting up, a kitting down, whether I'm opening. Sometimes it's hard when I'm opening a canvas to get the whole thing in there, so I need to work that out. I think sometimes I need to have my desk oriented instead of the long side going this way. I need to have the long side going this way so I can kind of lay it out and you guys can see it, but that's a problem for another day. So if it's too big, I can always move it out to my dining room table. But anyway, so there are all of my fancy phone stands, equipment, camera holding things, because again, I film with a smartphone, and my light boxes and all of that good stuff. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to share with you guys kind of maybe a little behind the scenes tricks. Okay guys, just a few things that I wanted to share that I forgot. So this is the box that the clamp-on one with the phone holder came. This is the clamp part that I really like, with the snake that's kind of adjustable. So again, I'll put a link in the description below so that you can find those. The other thing that I wanted to share was actually something that my husband got for me. And these are basically lenses that you can add to your smartphone. It comes with a little clamp like this, and then it comes with different lenses. So you get 3 different lenses in this package. There is a fisheye lens, which is what this one is. Now, I don't personally know why anybody would want a fisheye lens, but yeah, there is one. There is a wide angle lens, which is one that I use. And then there is a macro lens for doing really super duper close-up stuff. And I want to say this whole package was 15 bucks. But basically what you do is it comes with these lens covers. So you take this lens cover off, and I want to share this because it took forever for me to figure out how to do this. And then you have this thing here, and it screws on. There are a couple of little threads in there. So you screw the extra lens into this holder thing. And you can see right there is the lens part that goes on your camera. So then what you do is fit it over your camera lens. And I'm going to try this, so if you need to close your eyes, go right ahead. I don't know how this is going to work. I can't see what I'm doing. Nope. Oh, well, I've got the cover on it. Duh. You have to take this cover off. God, I'm so dumb sometimes. Sorry, guys. Okay, let me put something there so you can look at it. And then we'll see. I'm kind of doing this by feel. So I don't know if you can tell the difference. So now you can kind of see more of the field with that wide angle lens on. Let me take it off, and hopefully that made some sort of difference. It's supposed to anyway, and it does work. So like if I need to film, I will raise my stand up, and then I will put this on so that I get more of what's in, you know, what I'm doing on the table in the shot. And then the macro lens, which I haven't used yet, but I will be using, is the same thing, same process, except that it lets you zoom in really super duper close so you can see things close up. And it has just added that little bit of range to my filming, so that even though, you know, I can't really zoom out with my smartphone, I could zoom in, but I can't zoom out. And so this this wide angle lens lets me do that. And hopefully you could see the difference there. I don't know if you could or not, but hopefully you could. So yeah, those are the things that I use to help me create for you guys. If you have any questions, leave me a comment below. You can get away with just a camera, a smartphone stand, and film that way, and you'll be fine. But if you want to do things, you know, just that little bit step up, having something like this, having a mic, a microphone, not just your camera's microphone or your smartphone's microphone, will add that little extra bit of professionalism. And by no means is this a completely professional setup. I'm not trying to say that at all. I'm just showing you what has worked for me and some of the really, you know, inexpensive tools that you can add to your setup that will get you some bang for your buck and make your videos sound and look a little bit better. Remember lighting and sound. For videos, of course, you want good lighting because people are going to be watching you, but you also don't want to forget about the sound, because there are a lot of people, especially in the diamond painting world, when you're doing a whip and chat or something else and they're not really watching you, but they're listening to you, you want that audio to be, you know, as good as quality as you can get it. And smartphones are great, but there are just some pieces of equipment that aren't that expensive that could make it just that much better. So yeah, Again, I will try to find all of these and put links in the description below. I may not get exact links. Some of these things were gifts, and I don't have access to the actual like name of the equipment or whatever, and I don't have boxes for all of these, but I'll do the best I can. And yeah, hopefully you can try them out if you're a fledgling YouTuber like me, and see if they work for you, or if you were thinking about getting into YouTubing and see how that works. So yeah, as always guys, if you like this video, don't forget to do all the things on your way out. Hit that thumbs up if you liked it, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification icon so that you can be informed of future uploads. And as always, thanks for watching.